I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, new album came out in April called And the People Said Amen. I'm going to play some cuts off that, Matt, in just a couple of minutes, although we play a lot of the songs already that are on the album. But 5 envelopes with your name on them.
All right.
Each one with a question specific for Matt Maher. Hey, by the way, do you use some kind of, I say it, on the radio all the time, coming out of one of your songs, Matt Maher, not spelled like M-A-R. What do you use to avoid the spelling problems?
Sometimes I just like to see how creative people can get.
Let's roll into number 1 here. All right, some don't realize that you wrote Your Grace Is Enough. What is it like as a songwriter to have a Hall of Fame worship song made famous by someone else when you sat and you sweated over it and penned it? What is that like for you as a songwriter?
When your faith's so much involved in your art, you kind of know that, this isn't about you. The place that this is much more prevalent is in worship songs because worship music, ultimately is about the church encountering God. It's not really about the artist. The fact that Your Grace Is Enough, is such, has received a lot of notoriety or it's been sung in so many churches, it kind of just makes the most sense to me because, of course, it would, because the whole song's about God. So I think it's a big, always constant reminder for me of just a big part of what I do is writing specifically songs, that are for the church thing. And I love writing all the different kinds of music, but there is something very specific about that type of song and something pure about it. You want to kind of keep it that way. Nobody's sitting around talking about, John Newton who wrote Amazing Grace.
Right. The real question, Matt, if you're sitting in a worship service and the worship leader starts singing Your Grace Is Enough and some little kid next to you goes, oh my gosh, I love Chris Hamla. Do you correct him, elbow him, or just let it slide?
You just let it go, man. It's all good. I think the great thing about Chris is part of his mantle, or kind of his calling is he kind of takes songs. He has this ability to kind of see songs that are working and he kind of trying to uses his little platform to shine a light on them because he thinks that they're going to help people pray. And I think he's done a really good job of that.
Since our last chat on the air, you've become a father. What is the one thing they did not put in the brochure?
There's a lot, but I'll say that like the first one off the top of my head, which is a little bit graphic, is nothing will prepare you for when you're driving down the road and for no explainable reason, all of a sudden you can smell your child's poop.
Right.
Like the first time that smell hits your olfactory senses, it gets burned in your brain.
Yeah.
And so, and they can't take it away. So, literally I was driving down the road with my wife and I was like, that was weird. She goes, what? I said, I could just smell her poop. He wasn't even in the car. There was no diaper around. It just sort of hit me.
Yeah, and you look back and there's a smirk going on.
Yeah, exactly. But I just fatherhood, parenthood is to me, it's just such a gift. It really is a gift from God, and it's something that I realized how much I took for granted. I took my own parents and their sacrifice for granted, and you never really know until you start realizing that you really have to. If you have this life, you've been stewarded with raising it, and so it's kind of like every day is full of little moments where you have to choose. Are you going to choose them over yourself?
Yeah.
Or are you just going to choose yourself? And when you learn to find the joy in sacrificing, growing in patience, growing in understanding, it's really, really beautiful. And I think it does point back, hopefully, to everybody's faith relationship with God. God is a father, you know what I mean? And so for me, it's just been unbelievable. Absolutely love it.
One of the top songs in the country right now, Lord, I Need You, a hymn that's been around for a little while now. Why did you decide to do it and put it on the album?
Well, I'd written it, this sort of updated kind of version that points at the original hymn back in 2011. I was reading a book by C.S. Lewis called The Four Loves, and he talks about how there's this basic kind of love that he defines as need love, which for anybody who's a Christian or anybody who believes in God, you realize even like in AA, the 12-step movements, they do this. There's this basic realization that there's a God and it's not you. And that realization of I'm a sinner, I'm broken, I'm frail, and I need God, that's something that we're actually never supposed to really kind of grow out of as a Christian. It's supposed to kind of remain a very important part of your kind of relationship with God. So I wrote the song with a bunch of folks from Passion City Church for a Passion Conference, but I always resonated with the song, and it really was, it's funny, oddly enough, like when I became a parent and I discovered what real dependency looks like by caring for a baby and how dependent on they are you to be fed, to be nurtured, to be held, to be cherished, you know, through long nights, through sleepless nights, through, you know, all sorts of stuff. And you know, for me now, when I sing that song, it really is just this constant reminder of, you know, I think of my son, and, well, my wife got pregnant, actually. Well, she's pregnant. I'm not pregnant, but she's due in October, so we'll have 2 babies, so I'm going to go through this again. And so, you know, when I sing that song, for me now, it really is about a song. It's like a declaration of dependence on God.
What is a typical Matt Maher routine when it comes to songwriting, and any quirky habits that you have specifically in regards to writing a hymn or a song that ends up being a staple in the church for years and years?
I think the thing that everybody has a charism they bring, and I humbly would put myself below Matt Redman, by the way. That guy he will go down in history. He'll go down in the books. One of the great hymn writers. I think for me, the big part of the thing that I try to bring is the sense of history. I think I'm always scouring the internet, because I don't live in England like Matt Redman, so I can't go to Oxford and just go to the library. But I'm just always looking on the internet for old phrases, truths that the church has proclaimed throughout 2,000 years, because I just think that when we bring these things back and we represent them, we realize that the truth doesn't change. It's just the perspectives, which are human, change. And we're supposed to actually learn from each other's perspectives, you know, because we can both look at the same object, but I can't have the same perception as you, because I'm not you. And so there's something beautiful and unique about yours than there is about mine. So I think that's a big part of what I like to bring when I'm writing songs, and specifically songs for the church. And whether it's buying old poems or old sermons that have been written down and recorded, and then I think for me, I'm a very conceptual writer. I love having an idea, like the song White Flag that I helped co-write a couple of years ago, which Chris Tomlin, you know, did such a great job of leading. That song came from this whole idea of the cross being simultaneously our greatest sign of surrender as well as our greatest sign of victory. Yeah. And so it's our white flag, but our white flag isn't the surrender. Yeah. So I kind of try to come to a songwriting session sometimes with a concept like that.
Between today and the day you played a worship set at a casino in Nevada, what is the craziest stage moment since then?
Oh, man, you had to bring up that one.
One of my favorite moments in radio right there.
It really was, oh, gosh. You know, I think I've kind of plateaued, I feel like. Things have definitely gotten more somewhat in the norm. It's always really interesting to me when artists play at theme park. Yeah, it's just weird to go finish lunch and have a park attendant say, "Hey, do you want to go see Shamu?" And so you do, and then you walk the length of a football field or half that, and then all of a sudden you're singing your grace up in an amphitheater. So it's just kind of a surreal experience, right? You know, and I think I got food poisoning that day too, because I ate a turkey leg. And I'm just go on the record and challenge the Theme Park Association of America, if there is such a thing, that they need to come clean with what a turkey leg are, because there's no way a turkey could produce a leg that.
Right, I haven't seen it.
So I just think they need to come clean and tell us.
Well, and you're coming to Six Flags New England on July 6th.
I am. I'm going to be at Six Flags. So it's like, here we go again, you know, but this time it's roller coasters. So that's even crazier, because then it's like, you know, you're going to experience negative G's.
Right.
Get motion sickness. Then go play music.
Right. Beautiful setting. Awesome. If me and a listener accompanied you, how would you plan the day for us in regards to food and activities, in regards to the coolest city you've ever been to?
Can I give you three? Can I give you like 2 cities?
Yeah, sure.
The 2 coolest cities I think I've been to would probably be London and Chicago. And the reason why I'm going to say Chicago over New York is because New York is it's an amazing city. I don't think you can see New York in a day.
Yeah.
But I do think you can see enough of Chicago in a day. And there's enough great food in Chicago. You know, check out a couple of art museums and get yourself real Chicago doc. and maybe even we could catch a Cubs game. We'd have to hit up Giordano's eventually, and we'd have to get a street cart hot dog. Most definitely have to get, hopefully this person's a coffee drinker. You drink coffee, right?
Oh, yeah, Seattleite here.
So we'd have to get some Intelligentsia coffee, which is in Chicago, which is pretty fantastic. I was in San Francisco for a day. Actually, I'm going to say San Francisco.
Okay.
And because the reason why I say San Francisco is I was there on a day off, and we went to a coffee shop, and we ran into this crazy hipster Yoda. I don't know how to describe him.
Yeah.
He had a long beard. He was wearing an ironic t-shirt, and he was in a hipster coffee shop. And he grabbed someone's iPhone and typed out a list of activities to do to see San Francisco in a day, and it worked. It was like, do this, then go here, then have a banana and peanut butter sandwich from this place, then go eat a brownie, then go and walk to this beach. There's going to be caves. You're going to be underneath the ocean. And it was like literally everybody we did it to a T at work. Cisco is an amazing city. And actually, I got engaged with San Francisco, so it holds a special place in my heart.
He might have been a professional tour guy, but he just dresses like he's hanging on a...
Totally incognito.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
Hey, I love the album. I think by the end of this year, we're going to be talking about it in terms of being one of the top 5 albums of the year. Just my own personal opinion, but can't wait to see you play again here soon.
Thank you so much, man. Great talking to you.
It's all new. The Q 90.1.